Prime Minister Nomination and Cabinet Appointment Bill.
Second reading what day?
Friday the 24th of March. No, Friday the 24th of May.
Yes, it's been a long week. Friday the 24th of May. Presentation of next bill, Patrick Grady.
Scotland Independence Bill.
Oh dear. I've stood here for 10.5 years not saying what I think. The honourable gentleman knows very well what I think of that one. Second reading what day?
Thursday the 4th of July, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Thursday the 4th of July. Thank you. Thank you. And so we come to motion number 1 on business of the House, 23rd and 24th of May. Minister to move.
I beg to move.
The question is, as on the order paper. Do I have any... Informally, thank you. The question is, as on the order paper, as many as... no, Mr Patrick Grady.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I think it's important that the motion is aired and the detail of what is happening today is put formally on the record. The wash-up is an important part of the United Kingdom's strange constitutional practices. But the decision of the Prime Minister to call a snap election in the way that he did yesterday has meant to an incredibly truncated wash-up and a very short dissolution period. And he seems to have done that without very much consideration for the impact that decision will have on the mechanisms and procedures and people of this House who try to make everything run relatively smoothly. He also appears to have done it, frankly, without much consideration to the impact that it's having in Scotland, where much of the electoral mechanisms that might be expected, the staff who would run elections might have been expected to be on their holidays, the rooms that we use for our polling places in schools and so on would also not generally be expected to be open. So I think it's a bit unfortunate that the government is using the opportunity when it could have taken a bit longer. There was no reason not to have a slightly longer dissolution period or a slightly longer wash-up during the whole of next week, which would have allowed for much more of the stalled legislation, that now very good legislation in some cases, particularly private members' bills, that won't be able to come forward. That includes the two that I've just presented, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm sure the House would have welcomed the opportunity to debate them at great length. So I think it is quite important that that is put on the record before the House simply approves the motion that the Leader of the House has brought forward. With a little bit of indulgence as well, Madam Deputy Speaker, if I could just thank you, first of all, for all of your service to the House and how much many of us in the SNP have enjoyed someone with Scottish heritage and an understanding of Scotland's place in the world. During our time here. It has been a real privilege to represent people in Glasgow North for the past 9 years. I'm very grateful to all of my staff, to the staff here in the House, and to all my colleagues and staff in the Scottish National Party. In Malawi, where I spent time, we have a tradition of asking forgiveness when we take leave of a place for anyone that might have been offended or hurt in any way during our time in that place, and so I do that also today. But for now, Madam Deputy Speaker, I wish all my colleagues who are standing very blessed. But for me, Caledonia is calling, and so I'm going home.
Leader of the House.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Well, can I, in all sincerity, wish the honourable gentleman well, but it wouldn't be a Thursday without a little bit of argy-bargy with the SNP. I am sorry that the First Minister will not be able to go to the Dordogne over the next couple of weeks, but I just would gently remind the SNP that a former First Minister tried to hold a referendum during the October school holidays and was only thwarted in doing so by this government in the High Court. And I am glad that this motion is supported to enable us to get as much legislation through as we can. Yeah.